Hi, and welcome back to Mary's Cooking Lamb Shawarma. Shawarma in here than I thought it was gonna be. Jokes, all jokes aside, look, this is a really yummy recipe. It's not the best lamb shawarma recipe I've ever tried, and that one is actually from a Jerusalem cookbook that my brother gifted me one year for Christmas. That is an amazing recipe, but it takes a lot of work and it's like an overnight deal kind of thing. Today's recipe is super delicious. You don't need to leave it marinating for hours on end. In fact, we're gonna make the marinade or the rub, whatever you wanna call it, slap it on straight in the oven. Are you excited? You are going to need 2 teaspoons of paprika, cumin, coriander, and cardamom, 1 tablespoon of each. 2 teaspoons of salt, the peppers, both black pepper and cayenne pepper. You might like to pop in a dirty old bay leaf. 1/4 cup of olive oil. 2 cups of chicken stock or beef stock, veggie stock or water, totally up to you. These old friends of ours, the onion and the garlic. What a beautiful pair. And of course, the juice of a lemon. I really like lemon on lamb, so I'm just gonna see how much juice is yielded from this, and then I might add a bit more. That's pretty much all your ingredients, except that you might also want this little guy. This is a 2 kilo, just over 2 kilo lamb shoulder with the bone out. Preferably if you've got a beautiful butcher nearby who's happy to give you the cut that you like. Lamb shoulder with the bone in is definitely the way to go, especially for a slow cooked recipe. You really want the bones in there because by the end of it, they all fall off the bone anyway, but that bone gives it extra flavor. I think it keeps it a little bit moister. The one that I was able to order in from a wonderful supplier, Doppio, it didn't come with a bone. That doesn't matter. It is what it is. Let's give it a red hot go. I don't normally use a food processor to chop up onions. It's a little bit, well look, I'd say it's the lazy way to go, but to me it actually takes more effort washing it all up afterwards. But in this case, I want my onion to be really finely diced because then it'll spread on a little bit better. So I'm actually just gonna chuck it into this little guy, which is just an attachment on my stick blender. I'm also going to chuck in 3 cloves of garlic, and that'll all beautifully pulverize together. This recipe is one that I have adapted after trying it out a few different times. It's definitely become more my recipe now because I've changed out some of the herbs and spices, and I've added some other bits and pieces just to get those flavors absolutely minging. We're just going to whiz that up. Ooh, pungent. All right, you're going to need a bowl. Crazy, I know, but we need somewhere to put all of these beautiful flavors together. So I'm going to pop all of that onion and garlic into the bowl. Hopefully this bowl is big enough. There we go. Then into that bowl, I'm going to put the juice of a whole lemon. If you haven't gone out and bought yourself one of these yet, I don't know what you're thinking. You're probably doing the right thing and only going out to buy essentials, but some would say this nifty little lemon squeezer is an essential. Then we're going to add the olive oil, the peppers, that's about 1/2 teaspoon of each. Honestly, the more you make these things, the more you realise that you just add in the flavours you like and you leave out the ones you don't like. I'm putting in 2 teaspoons of paprika. I have found in recent times that I'm not a big fan of smoked paprika. I prefer good old normal Paps paprika. However, you put in whatever you like. And I'm going to put in a tablespoon, each. As you can see, I'm not being highly careful here. That one is the ground coriander. I'm going to do the same with the cumin. I'll probably put a little bit less of the cardamom in. It's a very strong flavour. There we go. Cumin. That's actually got a very pungent odour. Smells a little bit like a man who's just come back from a long jog, but it does taste delicious. All right, and just a little bit less of the cardamom. Yummy. Okay. Oh, don't forget the salt. Going to take one of these lovely guys. You know they're my favourite thing in the kitchen. And going to mix that little paste around. I'm going to poke my nose a bit close to it. Yummy. All right. Don't judge me. I'm actually going to taste it. Whew. It's got some power in it. It's actually so delicious. You wouldn't want to eat a whole spoonful of it like that without any of those flavours cooked off, but I can tell right now, this one's going to make your flavour buds dance. All right, nice big baking dish. You need enough room in there for the lamb to just be soaking and enjoying a hot bath of beautiful flavours. Try not to get one that has shallow sides. Nice and deep is good. Pop him in, and we are going to slather this paste all over him. Both sides, top, bottom, everywhere. This guy is getting the full massage treatment. And trust me, you are going to thank me later. There we go. Once you've got all the marinade on, all that lovely shawarma paste on, you do want the fat side to be up. So facing towards the top. All right, yum. Try to resist the urge to poke your face in there and give it a good lick. Your time will come. Okay, next, I'm going to pour in some stock. And I'm just going to pour it in from the side. I'm going to grab my bay leaf and I'm going to pop one in. Whoopsies, that's a monster. Let's pop him in there. There we go. Apparently, bay leaves don't add a lot of flavour, but they are very good to help you digest the meat. So there you go. Who knew? Thank you to the home viewer that sent through that information for me. All right. I am going to put foil onto this beast and then I'm going to pop him into the oven. Now listen, I've already put the oven on. What? Yes, I've learned from my previous mistakes. It's on 160 for a fan forced oven or 180 for a regular oven. This is going in for 3 hours. Don't do what I often do and pull it out earlier. 3 hours. But we are going to check on him throughout and baste him with some of those beautiful juices. So don't worry, you won't be getting separation anxiety anytime soon. I've made myself a cheeky little almond flat white. Now it's time to make some flatbreads. Alongside the flatbreads, I'm also going to make a very easy, very quick, my take, I guess, on a Greek couscous salad. Look, if you just want to make the flatbread, you could eat that with the lamb with dollops of yogurt on there. Oh my gosh, you'd be in heaven anyway, but you know, a few little veggies on the side never hurt anyone. Okay, here we go. You need a mixing bowl. Self-raising flour, 250, also known as 250 grams of self-raising flour. You're also going to need some Greek yogurt, full cream if you will. I have made this recipe for vegans before, or for myself when I haven't been able to get the lactose-free stuff with coconut yogurt. As long as it's not sweetened, as long as it's like a nice tart flavour, you're in business. And my cheeky little partner in crime always, a little bit of salt. When you come to roll out your flatbreads, you need a little bit of oil and something similar to this beautiful guy. And for stirring, the ever faithful rubber spatula. Okay, I need half of this amount. So I'm just gonna guess half. Oh, that's creamy business, that stuff. I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon and garlic, salt and pepper, maybe some mint to this later to go as a side. Little pinch of salt, don't need much. And my 250 grams of self-raising flour. And then you just mix them together. What, is it that simple? Yes, friends, yes. Just mix them together. I find that if you start off using a spatula and you graduate later to using your hands, if it's not coming together as well. All right, I am going to use my fingers now, and I am regretting leaving my rings on, so give me 1 second. I'm going to wash my hands and take off my jewelry. There's a lesson for you folk at home. So as you know, we have been doing shout outs to home viewers, and I had a lovely long Facebook chat with an old friend, Julie Jones, about how her whole family have been enjoying the shows and how especially her son Samuel has been really getting into it. So shout out to you, Sam, and a big hello from our cat Brian, of course. I know you guys have your own Brian in your household. He's just a human one. That's looking good. It's looking just about perfect. Not that we deal in perfection on this show. What we're going to do is actually leave that now to rest for 20 minutes. In the meantime, I've got a yummy salad to show you. It's time to make my very own take on a Greek couscous salad. Okay, make your couscous according to the instructions, and then when it's looking ready, just flake it up with a fork, and because we are decadent, we're just adding a little bit of chopped butter to that. Make it so delicious. And I'm going to pop the lid back on and let that all dissolve in. This is not a specific recipe. This is just something that I reckon would taste yummy along with the lamb, so that's what we're going to make. It's not that traditional, but it's got a lot of the traditional ingredients that you would find in a Greek salad, but I've teamed it with a little bit of a cute yummy dressing and a few extra bits and pieces which I think add all the more flavour. For your dressing, you're going to need some olive oil, you're going to need some Dijon mustard, a little bit of caster sugar and a cheeky little lemon. Optional extra is some baby gherkins. This is one of the things in my life that brings me great joy. It's a beautiful goat cheese feta. It's a staple in our house. But if you prefer normal feta, then you may as well have that. For the actual salad ingredients, we're going to need all of these things. This is a mix of herbs. I've got flat parsley, also known as continental parsley. I've got some basil from my garden. I've got an avocado, a red capsicum, a Lebanese cucumber. I've got some little cherry tomatoes, a red onion, and some pitted Kalamata olives. And of course, a few little green leaves, which are baby spinach and baby rocket. First of all, you need to chop all of these. Look at that, took no effort at all. Basically, I just chopped up as many or as little as I wanted of all the different ingredients. I only used like a quarter of my red onion because I'm not a huge raw onion fan. So with the leftover onion bits, I'm actually gonna pop that in with the lamb, just because why waste it when it all adds extra flavour. And when I go to baste my lamb in a little while, I'm gonna chuck that onion in with him. Okay. To your beautiful bowl of chopped up veggies, add a little bit of Peter, that's right, pepper, and of course wherever Peter is, Sandy's never far away, a little bit of salt, not too much. And then we're going to just pop him off to the side. And we are going to bring into view our beautiful olive oil If you have an extra virgin olive oil lying around the house, this is the time to use it. So I've just popped in, I'd say it's a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. You can use as much or as little as you like. I was always told that the ratio should be about, I think it's 1/3. 1/3 should be acidity and 2/3 should be oil. I could be wrong, but I really like more acidity than the normal person, than the average Joe. So I'm putting in the juice of a whole lemon, a small lemon, in with that amount of oil. Just remember, we always change things as we go according to taste. I'm going to add in a little bit of Dijon mustard. Don't need a lot. He is great for flavour, but he is also great for emulsifying. And I'm going to add in, this isn't even half a teaspoon. I'd say this is 1/4 teaspoon of caster sugar. A good crack of pepper. And a little pinch of salt. We're going to give it a good whisk. We want all those ingredients to emulsify. And the mustard is really good at helping it emulsify all together. We're going to stir that so that the sugar becomes as one with the rest of the ingredients, and then we can give it a taste and see what else it needs. Now, I was going to say you could add in some garlic, just your good old minced garlic out of the jar if you want to. But my mum is going to be having a little bit of this salad, and she's not a huge garlic fan, and I feel like the 3 cloves of garlic that's all over the lamb is probably enough. I love to get crazy from time to time with my dressing. Sometimes instead of sugar, I like to pop maple syrup in. So delicious. It's also a little bit better for you than refined white sugar. I also like to pop in a bit of sumac or paprika sometimes, but I've gone really classic right now. Let's give it a go. Now I need some more things. So I'm going to add more lemon. I need to make this a bit more delicious, so I'm adding in a little bit of seeded mustard, a tiny dash of apple cider vinegar, that's probably a bit more than a tiny bit, and another little squeeze, just a little squeeze of lemon. Let's whip him up. I reckon what it might need is maybe a dash of honey or a little bit more sugar. Definitely not making it up as I go along. All right, let's put our salad all together. Into a large mixing bowl, place your couscous, which should look just exactly like this. This is 1 cup of couscous that I made with 1 cup of boiling water. I'm now going to add in most of my veggies. But you know me, I like to leave a little magic for the top. And I'm going to pour in half of my dressing, making sure I get some of that good mustard. Now I chopped everything up quite small because I'm serving it with flatbreads and the lamb, and I want you to be able to put some of the salad inside the flatbread with the lamb on top and a good galoop of yogurt or hummus or whatever it is you're going to have with it, and be able to munch away on it without all the bits falling out. But you can make yours as chunky as you like. Okay. Now, I did say I was going to add some goat cheese. Goat cheese isn't for everyone though, so I usually add that as a side, and people can add what they want. I'm going to offer goat's cheese, but I'm also going to have a Greek feta on the side. If you're wondering, no, we're not having a dinner party, sadly. We are still in pandemic mode, but I have been dropping food off to people because we cannot eat all of this. So my parents are the lucky recipients tonight. Let's give this a try and see what it needs. It's good. If it was up to me, I'd put heaps more herbs in, because I'm a fiend for basil and parsley and all of those things, and you could even put coriander in if you're not a hater. But I know that the palates that I'm cooking for tonight don't love herbs, don't love garlic. So look, you just go crazy, add what you want. This is not really, like I said, a set in stone recipe. It's basically an idea center, and your ideas are the right ideas. So the verdict is, I reckon I need all of my dressing. So I'm gonna stir the rest of that in. It doesn't need to be like wildly punchy in flavour, because remember, you do have the flavours of the lamb and whatever beautiful condiment you're going to have on the side. I'm going to just add these little toppings to another little bowl, because I'm going to use the same bowl for serving it in. If you want to cut out the carbohydrates altogether, just add more green leaves and no couscous. Why? Just couscous. That's terrible. Okay, for fanciness, put those bits and pieces on top. And I would even like to add a bit more herbs on top, but we've had this conversation, we need to move on. One last little whack of salt and pepper. I reckon these are my kitchen besties. Going to cover it with some cling wrap, pop it in the fridge, and that will be just perfect to have with my lamb later. Speaking of my lamb, he's been in for just over an hour, so we need to just get him out, do a little bit of basting, and then we're going to get on with those flatbreads. Woohoo! Look at this guy. Come on. I'm going to add my onions in, and then I'm going to spoon some of these beautiful juices over the top. I just have a good feeling about this guy. This little guy's been waiting a long time. So we're going to chop him into about 8 pieces. They don't have to be perfect. Just, you don't want really big ones, because I feel like with this kind of thing, it's better off having more of them rather than having really huge thick ones. It's quite sticky. We're actually going to place a little bit on a very clean bench which you have wiped. Going to put some oil on there. I've done these before where I've rolled them out on flour, but then they actually get really quite dry in the pan. All right, so we've got oil on our bench, we've got our little guy ready to go, and we're bringing out ye old favourite non-stick pan, Pamela Anderson. Nice and hot. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on my lovely rolling pin as well. And we are going to roll this little guy. We're not making them huge because we want to have more. All right, here we go. Now we are just going to let him sit on there until he starts to get some dark spots on his underside, and then we're going to flip him right over. While this one's cooking, we can start rolling out our next one. This actually makes a really yummy pizza dough as well. The sky's the limit, really. Perfection! Look at that. The time has finally arrived to go rescue little Lammy from the oven. He has been in there covered with foil for 3 whole hours. I reckon it was 2 or 3 times I took him out of the oven, I basted him with those really lovely juices, popped the lid back on, popped him back in the oven. 3 full hours. Then I took him out again, checked that he was tender, he was looking just about delicious. So I took the foil off and then I basted him again with those beautiful juices. He's been in for half an hour. Let's go see how he's doing. Oh my goodness, he actually looks incredible. All right. Now, if you really love all those really crispy bits, the next step would be to let this guy rest for 20 minutes and then finish him off on the barbecue or in a wrought iron pan. But look, he's looking pretty great. Oh, he's actually just going to fall apart while I cut him off. So I'm just going to grab out a little bit to plate up and just show you how he just pulls apart like that. Wow. Amazing. Look at that. Just pulling apart like that. I'm going to give him a little bit of a chop. Those spices would be really delicious cooked up in a pan. So I'm definitely going to try that. But for now, look at that. That is how you want to serve it up. You've got your flatbread on the side. If you make your flatbread earlier, just do what I did and pop it in some foil in the oven for the last 10 minutes. Perfect. Then we've got the beautiful lamb. I've got a little bit of a side of hummus that's just from the store, but if you want to make your own, you go right ahead, and a little bit of minted yogurt with that gorgeous salad. I'm so excited to taste it. Oh wow. Yeah, that's the best I've ever made it. That is good times. Oh my goodness. Even the flatbread alone is out of this world. Go away, leave me alone with my lamb. Oh my gosh.